o'clock. It's 5:04 actually, and we should begin. The story that you're going to hear and see today is about a man that we met on a world tour to declare the end of the nuclear age. And that was in 1999, and here we are in 2020, and we're still struggling with that. But we...
But at that time, with the building up of not only nuclear power, which was very popular and still is to some extent, one of the byproducts is depleted plutonium. And it's used to make weapons-grade plutonium, which then proliferates into weapons that plow through and melt through metal armored cars and destroy lots of lives.
Yes.
And so the linkage between nuclear energy and nuclear weaponry was of concern, and still is to this day.
Yeah.
So we were part of an entourage of artists
and activists, and we went to all the places that had some kind of nuclear issue, such as 3 Mile Island, Nevada, where they tested the bombs. We went to Japan and Germany.
We would have gone to Chernobyl, but things were a little too hot.
They said it wasn't still not safe.
But it was planned by this a team of artists led by Jim Barinholtz, who's a performance ritual artist, and under a lot of inspiration. And as the team built up, we provided ancient myth and story around the sun, and then we joined with musicians and other theater people, poets, etc., and went to these places around the world.
Yes, and so that's how we met Takashi. And as we performed at each of these many places, he would tell his story, we would tell our story, and at some point we both looked at each other and we wanted to do his story and he wanted us to do his story.
Yeah.
So that is what you're going to see now. So we shall begin.
No, we have to explain something. The word you're going to hear is hibakusha.
Oh.
The Japanese word. Hibakusha are the atom bomb survivors, and it's a community of people who were there within the effects and survived both the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And Takashi was 6 years old at the time of the event.
8. He was
and
8.
He was
60 when we met.
Right, and he was only like
8.
6/10 of a mile from ground zero.
And he was 8 years old, yeah.
Happened to survive the attack because he was playing hide and seek and he ducked under a desk, and that literally saved his life. So we met him on this peace pilgrimage.
And this is his story.
Okay, so hang in there, folks. I'm going to be pushing some buttons. Let's see if this works.
And hope it works.
And
Facebook's sort of live. Oh,
there we go.
I'm going to say go to...
Okay, folks, with no further ado, we present to you Takashi's Dream. Hang in there.
Tanamori.
Now, Takashi is what we call a hibakusha, the Japanese word for atom bomb survivor. And he had a powerful story, a heroic journey, actually.
And this story that you're about to see is his life story that he asked us to do. And we call it
Takashi's Dream.
Senba suru, suru, senba suru, tenno shisha, tenno shisha,
He was an 8-year-old boy, full of mischievous spunk. Takashi Tanemori finally arrived after the birth of 3 daughters. Takashi was the firstborn son, a little prince of a boy, finally arrived after 10 long years of marriage. And now his Okachan, his mother, could be officially accepted
as a Tanemori daughter-in-law. Oh, with a twinkle in his eye and a body brimming full of energy, Takashi had a laugh that was contagious to everyone around him. But that was soon to change. For he and his family sat in the sweltering heat of a bomb shelter on that late night of August 5th, 1945.
Takashi!
His hand slipped out of his father's hand, and he found himself following a voice into the shadows.
Takashi, this dream is for you.
The boy continued, as if under a spell. He turned back to call out to his parents. He could still see them, but they stood there lifeless, as if suspended in a timeless world, and his cries could not be heard.
Takashi, follow the dream.
Where are you taking me? Who's calling me? But even as he asked these questions, he found himself being pulled deeper and deeper into the dream.
Takashi, it is time.
The boy stared into the darkness, and he saw a translucent figure slowly taking shape. Oto-chan, Pop, is that you?
The boy shielded his eyes as the shadow grew brighter and brighter, until in that hazy brilliance the shadow took form, and standing before him was the most beautiful crane he had ever seen. Majestic, bold, tall, yet soft. His feathers were as white as freshly fallen snow on a moonlit winter's night. It spoke with the voice of an ageless child. Takashi, I am Senbasuru, as mighty as 1,000 cranes. Come, let us take to the sky.
Without hesitation, the boy climbed upon the back of the mighty crane, and up, up, up they soared into the night sky of 10 million blazing stars. By the powerful strokes of its wings, Senbasuru and the boy soared over Takashi City, nestled between 7 glorious hills and fed by 7 glorious rivers.
The breeze caressed Takashi's face as he watched the seasons transform the landscape below,
He could smell the sweet fragrance of spring blossoms.
and the August air heavy with the sweet green pungency of summer.
The hot days of summer fell into an autumn chill as he watched the hills turn into a blazing array of crimson red,
Yellow,
gold, and orange.
Takashi and the bird settled upon a large boulder in the middle of an open field.
But when Takashi looked around, gone were the many colors.
The smells, the sounds.
A winter, colder and more lifeless than he could even imagine, had settled over his beloved hills.
Villages lay silent, and barren tree branches hung like weary bones on naked skeletons.
A gray powder covered all like a blanket of death.
Not one single blade of grass grew in this most dismal place he once knew as his home.
Senbasuru, why do you show me these things?
Takashi, promise me, always remember your father's words. Live from your heart, Takashi, and remember who you are. Live from your heart, no matter what happens.
Senbasuru, why do you weep? Suddenly, a light in the distance against a gray sky, growing bigger, getting closer,
And the air began to broil.
and a rumbling sound like 10,000 thunders shattered the sky.
And a huge fireball hurled itself across the sky at Takashi.
The mighty bird took to the sky once more, but it was too late. Before Takashi could reach for the bird's legs, the bird was swallowed by the fire. No! Takashi collapsed to the ground, and he looked up and saw the great crane, Senbasuru. But even as he was swallowed by the fire, its peaceful and gentle voice rang out.
Do not be afraid, Takashi. I will return.
Senbasuru! Takashi sat all alone, his sobs echoing in that cold, gray winter.
And through that gray, black ash and orange ember drifted down from all that was left of Senbasuru and the fireball. Oh, how he ached to be back with his family.
Oh, how he longed to be in the arms of his mother and feel the safety of his hand in his father's strong hand.
To hear the laughter of his sisters, his younger brother.
But now he felt so alone in what seemed an eternity. Suddenly, he heard a sound. Yes. It was a music.
Music like none other he had ever heard before.
There, in the burning sky, orange and black embers turning into orange and black butterflies.
Yes, hundreds and thousands of fluttering orange and black wings painted the sky.
As all Takashi's fears floated away with the heavenly creatures, Ten-no-shisha, Ten-no-shisha, the butterflies, and the music lifted his spirits.
Takashi, I am here. It is Senbasuru.
Senbasuru! But Takashi looked around and the mighty white crane was nowhere to be seen. But instead, amidst the shimmering of orange and black wings, a single white butterfly descended down into the boy's outstretched palms.
Takashi, remember your promise. Always live from your heart and remember who you are. Live from your heart.
The butterfly opened and closed its wings and then lifted up, up, up into the sky.
Takashi, you may awaken now, Takashi. Awaken now.
Wake up!
1985. Takashi had almost fallen asleep behind the wheel of his old beat-up Chrysler.
1985. He had left Turlock, California about an hour ago and was now heading across the San Francisco Bay Bridge to attend an anti-nuke rally in the city.
The nuclear disarmament movement was slowly building, and Takashi, now 48 years old, delivered inflammatory speeches that charged the rallies throughout the Bay Area with the horrific realities of nuclear weapons.
He was a hibakusha, an atom bomb survivor, and the featured guest speaker for the evening's protest.
Tonight would be no different as he pounded the podium,
Shouted the atrocities.
and accused the U.S. government of mass murder.
Peace? Huh. Americans making peace in the world? Huh. They don't even know how much evil they create. No, Americans will never understand real peace until they have suffered like I have suffered.
Takashi's brown Chrysler began its trek across the Bay Bridge, beams and girders passing by, marking time and space.
Angled trestles of the bridge passing by, one by one, reminded him of the painful chapters in his life.
Each beam shared the great weight of the Bay Bridge, much like the weight upon Takashi's shoulders for the last 40 years since the bombing took place.
I've been such a failure.
Indeed, although he appeared charismatic and spoke with a certain eloquent authority, he alone stared at the bleakness of his own personal life.
She closed the restaurant behind my back, and then the 2 heart attacks. Oh. And then the divorce. Oh, ex-wife, kick me in the head, why don't you?
Even his children were like strangers, accusing him of living in the past too much.
But his worst failure lay irretrievable, deep in the cracks of his psyche, deep in the cracks of his heart.
An ancient vow made as a child upon his father's grave.
I will avenge my father's death. You'll see.
But as yet he had not succeeded.
Maybe my sisters were right. Maybe I never should have left Japan.
Indeed, his sisters had accused him of betraying the family name when he left to live in America with the people who had killed their family. Oh, in fact, they had wished him dead and conducted a mock funeral for him as if it were for a dog.
Takashi unbuckled his safety belt. His right foot pressing harder upon the accelerator. The car racing forward 75 miles an hour, 80, 85 miles an hour. He swerved recklessly across the lanes, aiming towards the railings on the bridge. Oh, what's the use of living now? Cho-cho, cho-cho, oh, cho-cho. What's that sound? Cho-cho, cho-cho. Nano hani tomare. It's like a song I remember. Nano hani aitara.
It was a song from his childhood. And as he began to sing this remembered song, his right foot relaxed, releasing the gas pedal from its suicide mission, and he began to drift back in time. Cho-cho, cho-cho, nano hani tomare, nano hani aitara, sakura ni tomare, hana kara hana e, asobe yo tomare yo, asobe yo tomare, asobe yo tomare.
Fly, sweet butterfly, fly, land on sweet cherry blossom. And when you are finished, fly into another flower and And when you are rested, go from flower to flower, land on any flower you wish, until you find the one that brings you joy. Oba-chan! Grandma! Hey, Grandma, Oba-chan! Oh, hey, manju! Oh, sweet sticky rice, red azuki bean. Oishi! Oh, mata manju kudasai. Okay, never mind. Oji-chan! Grandpa! Grandpa, come on. You promised me. Let's go. Right. Grandpa, come on. That's doing there. Let's go swimming in the river. You said, let's go, come on. Hayako. Oh, Grandpa, look. The hills. So green. Let's go hiking. Yeah, hiking. Oh, look, Grandpa. So kirei. Pretty and midori. Green.
Takashi, I'm gonna tell.
Sister, Satsuko, you're a tattletale.
Papa, the sensei, the teacher, caught Takashi using his left hand again.
Takashi, I've told you many times before, you are a tanemori from a respectable samurai family lineage. And so, you're the one who must act properly. You have a tradition to carry on. Why, even your name, Takashi. Takashi means noble man. So, you must act in the proper way. Your left hand, Hidari, kitanai, it's dirty. Mama, tonight at dinner time, you tie his left hand behind his back. He'll have to learn to eat with his right hand or no food at all.
Takashi ne, use your right hand, huh?
Oh. They look the same to me. How could two things that look the same be so different? One is good and the other's bad?
We're only trying to help you, Takashi.
Oh, Satsuko, you're a tattletale.
Stop that. You stop. Papa, Takashi is chasing me with a stick.
But is he using his left hand or his right hand?
Papa!
The Americans took away my childhood. I'll make them suffer tonight.
Takashi began practicing his speech with renewed bitterness and fire. But his throat began to close and his eyes began to tear. For Japan had shunned him too.
They labeled him Oyanashigo, an outcast because he was fatherless. The people called him Masete Ita, a hoodlum. What would you expect from an orphan child thrown to the streets to survive? Eating from garbage cans, sleeping under bridges, stealing from poor farmers.
But what about Takahashi-sensei and Nakamura-sensei and certainly Tamura-sensei? Without these noble teachers, why, Takashi might still be a hoodlum today, even dead by now.
Now, Now the Japanese called him Hibakusha, the word for atom bomb survivor. To the Japanese, the Hibakusha, these survivors were shameful reminders that Japan had lost the war. They were outcasts, a caste of untouchables.
Takashi gripped the steering wheel with fists that shook.
Right, left, good, evil, America, Japan, America, Japan. No, I'm an American citizen now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Pledge
of the
allegiance
United States of
to
America
the flag of United
and to the
States
republic
Republic.
for which
Can't
it
stand it.
stands.
I can't stand it. Standing in the grape fields of Delano, California, 1955. Working the valleys of
nation
San Joaquin and Stockton and Delano,
under God,
1955.
indivisible,
Someone dusted my food with pesticide.
with liberty
Laughing at me as I was sent to the hospital.
and
Hey,
justice.
a real live specimen from the A-bomb. Oh, don't touch me. No. Hey, does anyone speak Japanese around here? No, they use me as a guinea pig. We can't understand him. No. Spinal taps every day. No. They locked me up in a mental ward. It drove me crazy. Crazy. No. No. Someone help me. Someone help me. Mary helped me. Mary was the nurse. Mary, she loved me. And she brought me to the white man's God. Eventually, I got a scholarship to attend a Bible college in the Midwest. Hey, we can't have a Jap around here for a minister. No, you don't understand. I have changed my name. You can call me Thomas now. Thomas? Oh, who made you an American? No, I'll show them. I can survive. I'll get a job. I'll work at the car wash. Just clean my car, you dirty Jap. I'll show them. Gambate. Noble struggle without complaint. Gambate, 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 gambate.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, your wretched refuse from your teeming shores. Send me the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
So, I opened my own doors to my own restaurant. I became a sushi king. Oh, I even had my own TV show too. And then the Americans asked me, not just anyone, but they asked me, to introduce the wonders of gobble, 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 turkey meat to Japan. They dressed me up in a cowboy suit with my cowboy boots, shiny cowboy buckle, and tall cowboy hat. Oh, the Japanese respect the tall hat thing, you know. And they called me Turkey Tom, All-American. Yee-haw!
Yappo-ya-ya hey, yappo-ya-ya hey, yappo-ya-ya yappo, hitaki-taki yappo, hitaki-taki hey.
Hey. Anyone for turkey teriyaki?
Oishi!
How about some turkey sashimi?
Oh, delicious!
Anyone like to try some turkey sushi?
Gobble, gobble, gobble!
Yes. We Americans, that's me, you know, like to think of the turkey meat as the California tuna.
California, here I come.
But the Japanese call it shichimencho. Shichimencho.
Chichimencho,
Shichimencho.
chichimencho,
Shichimencho.
chichimencho,
Seven-faced bird.
chichimencho,
7 faces of deceit.
chichimencho.
like the Americans.
Takashi, you traitor, go back where you came from.
Right back where I started from. Right
With liberty,
back. Good,
justice.
bad, evil, left, right.
Choose,
America,
Takashi.
Japan,
Choose.
America,
Choose.
Japan,
Choose.
Japanese, America,
Choose,
Japanese. No,
Takashi.
no, don't make me
Choose.
choose. No.
Takashi slammed on the brakes. He hadn't seen the truck pull in front of him.
He shook his head to wake up, and that's when his eye caught something.
There beyond the Bay Bridge, a huge billowing cloud in the shape of a mushroom cloud.
Suddenly, a ray of sunlight burst through the clouds.
And in that flashing moment,
No!
Takashi was hurled back in time.
Not again!
To that fateful morning in his schoolroom in 1945. Blinded by tears, Takashi was forced to exit off of the Bay Bridge onto Treasure Island. And there, all the pain that was lodged in the cracks of his heart for the last 40 years spewed out all the horrors of that sixth day in August.
Hiroshima on fire!
Was he dead? Was he alive? Who was the stranger carrying him? Oh, so hot, so hot. Oh, the cool waters of the river. Oh, dead corpses floating by. Oh, the smell of burnt flesh. Skin dripping from faces, arms, legs. Oh, the moaning and the wailing. A crazed mother walks by with a headless baby on her back. Oh, Yoshi, Yoshi. Everything's going to be all right, baby. Everything's going to be all right. Yoshi, Yoshi, don't cry, baby. As black oily rain pours from poison skies.
Hiroshima on fire!
100,000 dead.
Jigoku!
Hell has come to Hiroshima.
Nothing will ever grow in Hiroshima again.
Not one single blade of grass in Hiroshima.
Papa finally found Takashi.
Papa and son crying, clinging to each other.
Papa carried son all the way to Kotachi village.
Safe away from Hiroshima.
Papa and son
Sister's brother.
together, safe together.
Together. But Mama was never found, nor baby sister, nor Oba-chan grandmother, Ojia-chan grandfather, Onea-san, oldest, kindest sister, was next to die. And then
Oto-chan!
would be dead by winter. In that cold, gray winter.
Never
again would one single blade of grass grow in
Hiroshima. 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 He sat in his car, parked on an island in the middle of the bay. Above him, a great bridge spanning from east to west. He wiped his tears. His vow to avenge his father's death now surged anew in every cell of his body.
He turned to fasten his seatbelt, straightened his hair, reached to turn the key in the ignition when...
Suddenly, through the open car window, flew a white butterfly. White butterfly. White crane. Wait, I remember. I remember that dream so long ago when I was just a young boy, the night before the bomb fell. The dream of Sambasuru.
Takashi, remember your promise.
My promise.
To live from your heart, Takashi.
My heart.
And remember who you are, Takashi. Live from your heart. That evening, in San Francisco, as Takashi mounted the stage and approached the podium, he took a long look over the sea of eager faces, waiting for his fist-pounding speech of fire and bitterness. But instead of revenge bursting from his heart, that night, for the very first time, he spoke of forgiveness. And as he spoke, he remembered the tears that flowed and the hope that flowed when on that very first spring following the nuclear Holocaust, he had found one single blade of grass, small and fragile,
Green and growing through his beloved Hiroshima. And as the crowd rose to cheer him on, and so many millions of stars blazing in the night sky, their tears glistened like his. For this noble man, Takashi, had finally come home. Home to a place called peace.
Takashi, you have awakened now. Go, my heavenly creature, from flower to flower and spread your joy.
Semba suru suru, semba suru. Tenno shisha, tenno shisha, semba suru. Semba suru suru, semba suru. Tenno shisha, tenno shisha, hana kara hana e, asobe yo tomare yo, asobe yo tomare, asobe yo tomare.
Fly, Takashi, fly!
Takashi's Dream, a story of man's journey from hatred and revenge to a place of forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Now you know that if Takashi can forgive our country, forgive his own country, forgive the deaths and the destruction of his culture and his family, certainly we can begin to think, maybe I can forgive my mother or my sister or my brother-in-law or my best friend that used to be my best friend, or whatever has happened in our lives. It's not easy.
All too often we think that forgiveness is a place of weakness and leaves us vulnerable, or that it means that we're supposed to forget what happened or to let it go. But it will stay in your memory, and we have to honor that the event did happen. But the forgiveness that happens is really for healing oneself, so that you don't eat yourself up with the anger and the resentment.
Yeah. It is hard. And even, that old thing, make lemonade out of lemon. And even when there are blessings that come out of these horrible experiences that you've had, that one's had, it's still hard. Even when you recognize the blessing, it is still hard to. But it's something that we all need to always move forward toward, because it will release so much of this pent up, tied up energy that otherwise could be used for something far more positive in our lives. There's a quotation that I found, or a saying, that it goes something like this: that forgiveness is the violet that has been crushed by a shoe's heel and still releases its fragrance. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. We also have this piece, if you want to share it with other people. It's on a DVD that we did. Obviously, that's what you saw. But it also has other stories. It has, first of all, it has an actual interview with Takashi himself, who still lives in Berkeley. He has very narrow vision. He's
Blinded by the atomic blast.
Yeah, he's had some cancer in his legs, but he's an amazing man still.
And a visual artist with what little bit of his retina he can still use.
And he actually wrote a book about this, far more detailed, and it's really very good. So it's Takashi Tanemori, Tanemori.
Yeah.
But also on our DV is the Bird of Happiness from Tibet, and also Amaterasu, Japan's sun goddess, and her battle with the storm god and the light winds.
Yeah, to continue, though, with Takashi's life, that as I mentioned in the beginning, we were part of a peace project. And while meeting him, we continued another project called the Forgiveness Project. So we told the story. We brought Takashi along. He could interact with the students. And in several cases, we went to high schools and worked with an ongoing workshop that had...
It was a series of sessions that I had with kids that were chosen by the school counselor who were having issues around abuse at home and neglect at home.
And when they saw the story and they had to meet Takashi and to go through this healing process of forgiveness, the counselors had tracked the incidences of violence and found out that the incidents started to drop and lower.
Yeah, so we had... forgiveness was only one of the modalities I used as a therapist to help them through this stuff, and it was wonderful.
Another project we did in Hawaii with the Forgiveness Project is we went into the prisons in Oahu for youth, and we did it first for the male section.
No, the females first.
Okay.
And the girls just fell in love with Takashi and asked him to move in to the jail with him.
We said, we have an extra bed here. Yeah.
And then we did it for the boys, and the boys cried. The girls didn't. The boys cried, and they wanted Takashi to give them something to hold on to in order to help them get through their lives. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Story obviously is very powerful, and this story is very powerful. So please share it with you can, with all your friends, let them know about it. You can be seen again on YouTube. It'll be played whenever you want it to. Also, you can buy the DVD. You can go to ethno-tec.org, our website, and order it. You can also do donations through PayPal or Venmo at Nancy Ann Wang, W-A-N-G. Nancy Ann, because I'm from New Orleans, so it's Nancy Ann Wang, W-A-N-G.
So don't throw away that DVD player. Dust it off, plug it in, and play it. You know, maybe stack it on top of the VHS player. You can.
We still have all our VHSs and our DVDs.
But also, if you like this streaming, we do this every month. Next month is, although it's the month of September, we're advancing the October celebration of the Festival of the Moon. And we have the Autumn Festival celebrates the moon, and there are many stories from Asia that celebrate
The moon goddess. The lady in the moon, not the man in the moon, the lady in the moon. So we will see you next month. Thank you again so much for coming and joining us.
All right. Adios.